Good.
I am good. How are you on this beautiful
I'm
Sunday?
doing good. I am doing good. I am ready, set, ready to go.
That's what it's all about, right? Ready, set,
It
go.
it
So,
is
you know
ready
what? I
to
would
go.
love for you to, before we even dig into the secrets of how to put yourself out there, can you share your experiences? I mean, you've done so many amazing things. You've worked with so many amazing people when it comes to PR. Can you share some of your background and experience there?
Yes. I work with a lot of people and I truly love what I do. I truly love what I do. I've been a publicist for over 3 decades. And I started out as a traditional publicist, primarily working with the Salvation Army. I did that for about 7 decades. But before that, I really had a career in media. So I was working in print and I worked for the Detroit Free Press. I worked in radio, which I worked for I guess you would say, a station here, a large top 10 station here. And then I've also worked in television as a Christian television producer. So I've worked in radio, TV, and print. And then also now I publish Speakers Magazine. So I love full circle how everything really goes. Uh, I also have primarily worked with Black speakers, and I've worked with nonprofits that were Black. I've worked for the African American Museum here, and I've also worked for the McDonald's owners operators, the Black McDonald owner operators here. I did PR for McDonald's. So when I looked at my career, and I've run some organizations, Blacks in Advertising, Radio, and Television. I'm involved in NABJ. I've always been Black.
Come on now, right?
Pro-Black. I've always been pro-Black and primarily positive. Salvation Army, people don't realize that it's a human service agency, but it is also a church. But I've always loved speakers and thought leaders and authors, people who had a message that want to transform the world. So that's been me my whole career. And people who exhort and encourage, people who want to share their message to transform lives. That's what I'm all about. And so when I see someone that has a gift of speaking and transforming and really changing lives, I'm like their hype person. I'm their hype man. I'm their hype girl. And I go and I pull all of my experience from marketing, PR, radio, TV, and print. And I've written ads, I've written commercials, I've voiced commercials, I've put together campaigns, but I will say, okay, for you particular one, this is where you need to go. People need to hear you. People need to see you. You need to be seen. You can't stay a hidden gem. And so that's really been my thing. If I read a book and I love it, this is like as a youngster, I would be telling people about the book. And they were like, oh my God, I guess this book changed your life. Every book that I read, I feel like changes my life because it changes you in some way. And you were talking about the book yesterday, the about Mel Robbins' book, the 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. And I was like, the same thing. We are so much twins because I saw that same TED Talk. I saw that same TED Talk and got the book and was telling my husband about that book. I mean, so you know, we're like that. We read books. Cindy Trim, Dr. Cindy Trim, I've worked with her. Command Your Morning. That book changes people's lives. They say that affirmation all the time. TD Jakes, I've worked with him. Different authors and speakers. One of my favorite is Michelle McKinney Hammond. She is really like in the vein of helping women, Christian women, to live life full. You know, she wrote a book called Diva Principles, and another book she wrote some fiction books too, but primarily a lot of her books deal with how to wait for a husband, I guess, so to speak, while you're a single Christian or something like that. And she wrote one book said don't get on this bus, another one's coming in 5 minutes. It's just kind of like, don't just settle. Okay. Don't just settle. So I've had like a lot of fun clients. All the clients that I've had, I've loved. I mean, I've taken them where they have been a stellar brand like a TD Jakes or a Cindy Trim or Creflo Dollar to those who are just starting out, and then telling them the steps that they need to arrive to that level. And that's why I said it's ready, set, go, speak, because there's a whole lot of in the first 2 phases of being ready and set before you go and you speak. So it's been a joy. It's really been a joy. I mean, I was one of the first ones to do a podcast. Remember, we did a podcast probably in 2007, 8, 9, over 10 years ago on Blog Talk Radio. Remember that? Oh my God, Chocolate Pages and I mean, we were like doing the darn thing.
Going back.
One of the things I like about you, LaShanda, is that you will step into the new thing in a heartbeat. It's like technology does not, you're taking away, but does not make you afraid. If there's something new, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try StreamYard. Everybody's like,
Absolutely.
no, I'm going to do StreamYard. If you're going to do this, I'm going to do that. Remember, it was something called Blab. Remember Blab?
Yes.
Yes. And then there's Periscope would do that, so you have to change and stay relevant. I've been doing this 30, really more than that. I'm 60. So you have to know how to change with the times. You cannot stay the same. I could have stayed a publicist and just continued to write press releases and send them out, write press releases and send them out, getting PR. I mean, you know,
You've got
times
to
change.
evolve. You've
Yeah,
got to evolve, and
you know,
you have
yeah.
to be proactive. It's funny because I was pulling my notes from yesterday, y'all. If you missed the Book Business Summit, you missed something good. But the replays literally are online. So you want to make sure
Oh
that you
my
go to
God. Okay.
www.sistersense.com
You had
forward
all
slash
my favorites.
BB Summit, right? So that you
Mm-hmm.
can get them replays because we were having such a great time. One of the amazing speakers, Tyora, she said she learned this from Pam many years ago. So I had to get the quote because she said, I learned this from Pam a long time ago. She says, when you're writing a book, that's when marketing starts. She said, Pam said that many, many years ago. I took it to heart and I share that and I teach that. When you're
Yeah.
writing a book, from that beginning of the process, that's when marketing starts. And
Yeah.
so, you think
And
about
build
this,
your
Pam has
platform.
evolved and she's been doing this for so many years. And today she's so excited to be able to talk about her personal method to ready, set, go in it. I see you guys are coming on here. Hey, Queens, right back at you, my dear. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Miss Alita is in the building. Carla Hampton is here. Y'all make sure you share this out, share it out. That's what it's all about. And again,
Okay,
don't
let me
forget.
go. Let me share
See,
mine.
Pam is already, she ready. She going and she's sharing it out too. Hey,
I'm
Carla, good to see you here.
not gonna get
And
left
make
behind.
sure,
LaShanda ain't gonna leave me. Whatever LaShanda doing, I'm doing. I'm like, what you doing? What
make
you
sure you let your
doing?
business besties know to come on
Oh,
into the virtual building with us so we
oh,
can talk about this. So I'm going to let you jump in, Pam. Ready, set, go, PR. Let the entrepreneurs, the creatives, the authors know what it is that they're missing when it comes to putting themselves out there.
right. Thank you, LaShanda, because one of the main things that I'm sharing this out now. Where is it? What page is it on?
Hey,
So,
Sharon, welcome, welcome. If you want to share it on Facebook, it's the Sister Sense Facebook page. But we're on
that.
YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. All
Oh
the
my God.
good goods, right?
Oh my God. Okay, so let me get the Sister Sense and tell them how you came up with that name. People probably don't know that. So tell them how you came up with that name.
It's interesting because I find myself to be a Jackie of all trades, right? So I said, Lord,
Mhm.
I'm gonna make some money online. And if there was something to do, some affiliate marketing, some program, here, go buy some diapers and we give you some money back. Literally anything that they had online back in the day, because I've been doing this for almost 2 decades, I tried it, right? And so honestly, the name Sister Sense came from me personally trying to make sense of making money online, right? And then
Well,
I got into monetization through blogging, affiliate marketing, building people's websites, creating graphic banners. And in the process of me doing that, I was blogging back when blogging was a thing that only a few of us did, right? You talk about Blog Talk Radio. I was on blogger.com and livejournal.com and MySpace. Platforms were relatively new, right? About 20 years ago. And so I say that to say, essentially, as I journal blog my experience when it came to being an entrepreneur, trying to figure things out, a lot of people were coming to me and saying, oh my gosh, I'm a mom too, or I want to blog too, or I want to work at home too. How did you do that? So, Sister Sense evolved from me trying to personally figure out how to make sense of making money online and journaling that experience to me helping others do their monetization, marketing, and sales efforts as well. So, thank you, Pam, for just saying, hey, share that story with them. That's about putting yourself out there. I really initially was not a coach or a service special. I wasn't building websites for people. I was just trying to find a way to, make money. And when people think www, when that means World Wide Web, but for me, it meant Wild Wild West. I wanted to figure out how to create my piece of the digital pie, so to speak, and figure out what could work for me. So I could say this before Penny even talks about some things that when it comes to putting stuff out there. Because sharing my journey as an entrepreneur, documenting my process is what got people excited about what I was doing and working with me, right? I don't know how many of you blog, whether it be blog on your website or blog on your platforms, but just simply sharing your story. One of my favorite entrepreneurial guys out there, Gary Vee, he talks about that all the time. Document the process and share your process with others. He did that when he was building his business library, and that allowed him to create what I today. So let me wait. I saw Pam backdrop.
Yes.
The screen real quick. Let me pop it back on the screen.
All right, cool.
There you go. And I see that you got slides too. So whenever you're ready for me to drop those on the screen, let me know that as well.
Okay. It's not really a slide. It's just more or less like towards the end about Ready, Set, Go. So maybe talk about that first.
Sure.
Let's add that first, and I'll just talk about the logo, I guess you would say, or the change or the pivot that I personally have made in 2020. So you can add that if you can to hey, Keisha Green, Miss Green. Add that in there. So one of the things about
Juanita's in the building.
Hey, how are you? So one of the things about Ready, Set, Go, Speak is that 2020 has been a tumultuous year. Starting out beginning, if you remember, January with Kobe Bryant suddenly being killed, and that just shook everybody to the core. And then immediately after that, COVID-19, and then people were really dying from that, personal friends of mine. And if things couldn't get worse, then we had George Floyd around our birthdays. Remember, LaShanda, it was like May 26th. And it was a lot going on in the atmosphere anyway. But I just saw that then the protests and the marches and things like that. And then Black people really became, if they weren't woke at that point, they became more woke than ever. And I felt that the internet world, everybody was really just trying to push and sell different products and things like that. But I really felt it was time for some real change about people's messaging, getting seen, getting heard, and getting noticed. And it's like, why? And I felt Black people, especially, we needed to be seen, be heard, and get noticed because we need a message to tell. We couldn't take another person being killed and murdered at the hands of police. And then I remember right after, I think it was George Floyd, then I think it was Ahmaud Arbery was right after that. And then there was Breonna Taylor, and it was just so many things that that was getting our attention that we couldn't avoid. Well, one, we were sitting in quarantine, being alone, but then also too, as an African American, as a Black person, you were like, Black Lives Matter. I mean, this is serious stuff. I mean, the 1960s was one thing, but then in 2020, 40 years later, this stuff is still going on. We need to do something, and we need to know how to really talk to the media, how to get seen, how to make a change. So you could take it down. So the colors you could see are red, black, and green. I had on the dashiki type thing, and I was Black before. I always loved Black people, but this year I was like blackity Black. Okay. It was like, I'm not going to be afraid to say Black. I used to say, we're African American, but now we're Black. This is a thing. And if you're Black and you have a message, it needs to be told. I'm going to show you how. You can't be lazy. Ain't no time for that. You saw January, February, March. Here we are up months later. And if you haven't wrote your book, told your story, stood on the stage, did a webinar, did a live, it's like, really, you don't have time for that. And so I felt so passionate about Black people really getting their voices out there. And it's to the point where I just felt like it's more than just creating a course and making millions in a day, or it's more than, I could sell 30,000 books in 30 days. I mean, it was just like, well, what are you saying? What are you doing? What are you doing to add to the planet? What are you doing to help Black people? And so that's where Ready, Set, Go, the whole program is. It's like, I need to really be like a tutelage people for over a period of time. And you can't, LaShanda, we've been doing this for years. So it's not like we just came out of nowhere. So it's been years for us to learn certain things. And I told you that some of the videos that I watched of you early on was coding. Now, I'm not a coder, and she's a techie, right? She went to a tech school and all that kind of stuff. She's been putting together stuff, TVs and video game, whatever. But she showed a person like me how to code, and I put together some code based on some little tutorial that she did. It was like a blog, I think. And you can't be afraid of doing that, but that took time. Me and LaShanda literally have been together for a long time. We share each other's clients and that sort of thing. One of the gifts about LaShanda is that not only does she know design, but she writes very well, and she also speaks very well. So she has all of the tech pieces as well. So in this phase, and I'm going to say this about LaShanda, she talked about Gary Vee for a minute. Gary Vee is like a multi, if not almost billionaire, right? Doing what he's doing.
Right. He's huge.
But sometimes when you're committed to your people, you may not be a billionaire. LaShanda does things like this, and I'm just going to be real frank, where she could probably, if she were in a white audience, charge 100 times more. Easy, because of the information that she gives. Black people need to get it together and figure out how this woman here has been here for over 2 decades supporting Black people. And it needs to be the point where she can be on the same level as Gary Vee, if not Mike Zuckerberg. Okay, you know what I'm saying? At that point, this is what I'm saying. And so it's not like we're saying that, oh, Black people are cheap. But if you heard that, maybe that's a sign.
But sometimes, being honest, we're talking about different dynamics of putting yourself out there and looking at us and our counterparts. Sometimes it's about, well, I'll invest in them if they're going to charge X amount, but I may not put that investment in us. And we got that sometimes we got to fight through that as well. That's a whole other story for another day. I ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole.
That's the old saying that, their ice is colder, and it really is. Their ice is not colder. Do they care more? And that's really the point. You want someone that's going to care about you, about your legacy, about your community, about your family. You want people that care, and not just about your money. They care about you. They want to see you successful, because when you look good as a Black person, as a Black speaker, as a Black thought leader, as a Black thought leader, you make us look good. That's why people are so excited about Kamala Harris. It's like, oh my God, that's why we're so excited about Barack Obama. When they look good, we look good. We have that community. George Fraser, one of my mentors, always talks about that in terms of the Afrocentric mindset. And that's what I'm unapologetic about that. No shade and not knocking down any white community or anything like that. But if we don't build our community up right now, this is stuff going to be setting back, and people are going to be like, well, oh my God, this is, I heard someone say, I did a National Association of Black Journalists thing yesterday, and they were saying just about the newsrooms, the last hired, first fired. And it's like, this is 2020. It should not be. We should be at certain levels higher now. And so that's really the whole thing, when I'm just saying, like, in terms of mindset, first learn that you need a coach. You need to invest in yourself. You need to invest with people who invest in you, who care about you, who've been here for a while, who walk in integrity, people who really know what they're talking about. They're not always so. This is maybe this is a millennial thing. It's like, oh, well, show me the receipts. Show me the receipts. I'm too busy trying to get the work out here to be showing the dang receipts. Okay? It's too many people out here. I work with hundreds of people. Okay.
Now let me say this, Pam.
My website. Okay.
It's I'm like, gonna push in for a second and say that, I support everything that you're saying. I appreciate you for letting people know, I've been doing this for a minute. I know what the hell I'm talking about. But that whole concept of showing me the receipts, we walk the talk, right? And yesterday when we did the Book Business Virtual Summit, I said, our amazing speakers, I said 3 of them in particular, Tashina Davis, Tyra Moody, and Pam Perry, last month recommended clients to me. And through those recommendations, I generated $6,000 in sales. And that was just from them, not other stuff that I was doing. Right. And I said, I don't got time to be, okay, well, this is how much money I make. I'm making the money. Okay. And that's the thing that you need to think about. You need to think about the quality of your circle. You need to think about when it comes to putting yourself out there, who you are aligning yourself with, because I'm not just in this thing for 2 decades because I just like what I do. I've got people around me like Pam and Tyora and Tashina. They've been doing the damn thing too for 20 plus years, right? And so we
Mhm.
work together as Black
Mhm.
women, as entrepreneurs, and we'll work on projects together, right? And
Mhm.
so one person will do publishing, the other person will do PR, I will do web design, and we're integrating our skill set together so that it makes sense to help our people, our entrepreneurs who are looking for these pieces. So when it comes to this conversation around putting yourself out there, I love Pam's Ready, Set, Go method. I'm so excited that she's here to share. But I also want you to ask yourself, number one, and y'all watching right now, number one, how much are you putting yourself out there? Number one. Number two, how many you scared? Right? One of the clients, not clients, one of the speakers, LaShanda said, "Girl, you know I've been wanting to work with you for years, LaShanda Hoffman, but I was scared to talk to you. I was scared to ask you." I said, "Don't be scared." Right? She said, "Maybe I should have came 10 years ago and said, hey, LaShanda, how can we work together?"
Yeah.
Yesterday, Pam said, "Listen, you need to ASK because if you don't ASK, you won't what?
GE.
GET. Come on now. How many
Mm-hmm.
you scared to ask people, right? And who are the people in your circle? Or you keep looking for validation and affirmation and confirmation from people working 9 to 5s, but you still want those people to tell you what you're doing is the right thing? Or are you aligning yourself with people like us who know what you're doing is the right thing? Because we know that it's about being conscious as Black people, and it's about creating legacies and entrepreneurship for not just ourselves, but for each other and our children. So I had to pause you right there because I mean, for real, it's so important to talk about that. We don't always have to tell people how much money we making because real bosses, they just quietly making the money,
You
right?
don't, you
Doing
don't see
what they need
nothing
to
on here
do.
talking about, oh, look what I did. Yeah, we ain't talking about, oh, look what I did. You know what I'm saying? It's just almost like for me, or even this is just me. Even as a publicist, I see where a publicist will do a press release, a new client alert. I'm like, you know
Yeah,
what, boo? You need to be doing the client's business and get their word out
versus
there. You're worried about what new client alert. I'm like, that's a press release. So anyway, I digress because I'm a baby boomer, and we could say anything. So first thing, ready, set, go, speak. It's really a system and what I kind of call like the program that I'm doing in the fall. So the ready phase is basically where you spend the most time. It really is the most time of really getting ready. I call it the mindset where you have to think about your confidence while you're doing what you're doing, picking your niche and sticking with that niche first. Not to say that you can't expand. Like right now, LaShonda's Sister Sense, but maybe eventually it'll be Sister Sense and some men. But right now, she's dominating one niche, okay? And it's Black women. So you dominate that niche. You be a big fish in a smaller pond, but you can dominate. You're the leader. So pick a niche. And Michelle
yes,
McKinney Hammond, Christian women, single women, that was her niche. Valerie Burton, she has the psychology, people who like psychology and personal development as well as Christian. So it's people who are Christian, but also like personal development, which is a really kind of a different niche. So, everybody has a different niche. Be persistent, know what you're going to commit to
yes.
in terms of making this dream work. It's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you time and money. Now, if you're just talking about, I want to write a book, I want to speak, I want to write a book, I want to speak, but you're not putting any investment in it, you're not putting any time towards it, you're just pipe dreaming. If you want to write a book, you're going to invest in maybe going to some writers conferences, at least buying listen to some programs. You're going to invest in a book coach, maybe a PR coach, but you're going to really put in the work in order to know that you've got to put in some time or some money or both. Okay. And people always ask me, well, how much money? This is the ready phase. So maybe the ready phase is saving money. So the ready phase, how much does it cost to really do a book? At the minimum, I would say probably $2,500. So if you think that you're going to to not have $2,500 and it's just going to automatically happen that you're going to write a book, you're fooling yourself. So know that you need to save up $2,500, not maybe all at once, but you're going to need an editor. You're going to need a book designer. You're going to need someone that's going to do the marketing PR. You're going to need certain, so just so that you're going into a showroom to buy a car, you kind of know what the prices are. So I don't want you to get sticker shock about what it's going to cost. You want to buy a car, you go in the showroom and it's like, oh, I want to buy that, but oh, I don't have the money. Well, come back when you do. All right.
Come back when you're ready.
Go get a credit line, whatever it is. But I'm just saying that's part of the ready phase of knowing, counting the cost, getting the mindset. Why do I want to get out there as a Black person? What is my whole message? Am I really making a difference in this community? Am I going to be really making so much difference? Okay, I see Lisa Nichols and I see Dr. Missy, and I see these other people. How's my message different? So what niche am I talking to? There's people out here doing wonderful work, but how is yours different? Vershawn Shaw, how is she different than Cheryl Wood? So you have to know, not that you're competing, but just how you're different. And that's in the ready phase, because when it gets down into the set, go and speak, you have to be so sure that this unshakable, because when you look flipping on Instagram or whatever, and it's like, oh, they doing the same thing. Oh, they doing the same thing. Ooh, you didn't get ready enough. Your mindset wasn't tough that this is what you're bringing to the world. This is how I'm different. This is why. Okay. And you are scanning, you're calling.
You're talking about when it comes to getting ready, because it's the ready, the set, and the go. What's your niche? How are you different? And really understanding that this is going to require some persistence on your part, right? Some persistence and an investment on your part. Now, there's a question here, Pam. Thank you so much. I know my audio was a little bit crackly. Hopefully, guys, it's better now. Somebody says here, welcome, my dear. Awesome to have you here. How can I network with y'all queens? Have a business as well. I definitely want Pam to speak on PR and networking, but I can say a few things, just 3 things really quickly. Number 1, be where your people are. I've gone to quite a few events, Pam and myself, where we were there together, took pictures together. You want people to see you, you need to be at the events, right? Quite a few people, not just the speakers yesterday, but for the virtual event, I know them now, like Peach Publications, because they were asking questions. They were on the live, right? So you want people to be aware of you. You got to be where they are. That's number 1. Number 2, I love that Pam talked about making the investment, because real talk, you have to. I did several panels and discussions all week. One of them was with my clients. I said, hey, I'm going to show you examples of ladies who've created books using my templates. You know how they were picked? Because they were on my list of clients. I said, hey, who did the work? Let's do this, right? And then number 3, like you say, get your asking gear. Put yourself out there. Email Pam. Email me. Diane Taylor, one of the entrepreneurs and the speakers for the summit. She said, girl, I email people in the White House. I'm emailing publishers. I'm talking to folks at Barnes and Nobles. Most of these people, journalists, they have their emails accessible online, but you start, right? You ain't doing the research and you ain't reaching out, right? So be where they are, make the investment and get your asking gear, do the research, get their emails and say, hey, I want to talk to you. I want to work with you. Those are some things you can do.
That is so
put
true.
It back on you, Pam.
Yeah, so that's really like the ready phase. The ready phase is more internal. You're really doing the inner work, knowing what it is your calling is, your purpose, stepping into that. No one can tell you. Now, if you are a person that, like I said, I'm like your hype person. I'm like your hype man. So your hype man is not the person that's going to tell you what your purpose is, what your calling, what your gift is. You got to really just be settled in that. You have to be set. If Les Brown has the gift, the oratory gift, okay, he just needs someone to help share that out. But he didn't need me to say, but you're really good at this. Why don't you do that? I think you're good at speaking. He's like, really? I'm good at speaking. You got to know that you know it. You got to know that you're a bad mamma jamma in this part, right? Okay, so that part is settled. Then the set phase is getting the marketing machine tools that you need, because it's an ing. It's a so you need everything in your toolbox up front Right after you got this ready phase, you got this set phase of getting it together. That includes getting together your logo, your name, your URLs, your website, your copy for your website, your one sheet, your speaker reel, your bookmarks, your postcards, your book cover. You need a PDF, maybe a what they call like a sample book or the opt-in gift. I mean, there are things, tons of
Yeah.
things that you're going to need. And you rather get them in this phase rather than in the go and speak phase and say a TV station says, oh, great, well, send me your, and you like, I don't have it. And now you're scrambling. It's like, send me your demo reel. I don't have one.
Huh?
Send me your website. And your website is on Wix, okay? And that's wrong. So I'm just gonna say it.
Right? Oh goodness. Speak on that, please.
Get off of Wix, get off of Weebly. You trying to build legacy. You're trying to be taken seriously. So get off of things that says this website free. Really? Okay. So you want to charge $1 million, but your website is free. So you
On a
need to
free
invest
platform.
in WordPress. You need to invest in WordPress. That is one of the things. And then when you have the WordPress, you can update it, but you need someone to design it. That's what LaShanda does. All right. That is not something. And I always say,
I'm gonna try to see if I can put up Erica Lynn's website real quick.
yeah, oh, it's beautiful. Oh my God. It is beautiful. That is a client that we work with through Digital Business Acceleration. She had a website before, it wasn't constructed correctly. And we said, we're going to help you to get it together so that everything flows, so that you can actually get out there and get seen and get noticed and actually deliver your message. So one of the things is that you have to have someone that's going to help you. So in this set phase, as you're putting together all of your marketing materials, there's things that once you have decided who my niche is, who I'm talking to, how I'm talking to them, is what you're going to start putting together the actual materials. You're going to need an email autoresponder, whether you're using Aweber, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, somebody's automated email marketing system, because marketing is an ing, it's a set phase. So you want to be set, meaning that when someone asks for particular, can I have your press kit? You have it. Can I have your photos? I'd like a photo. Send me a vertical photo. Send me a horizontal. Send me a high res. Do you have this? Do you have a brand shot? Do you have a headshot? So what's that going to take? A photo shoot at the very least. And I'm not talking about going in your car and taking a whole bunch of pictures or having kids taking pictures of you with your cell phone. I'm talking about a real celebrity style photo shoot. And if you really want to make it pop, because this is like kind of the basis of the brand here in this set phase, is that have a stylist with you as well. And a stylist will help you with your style, but also the photographer will shoot and find the best ways to shoot you. But a stylist will also help you in terms of posing. Most of us are not used to doing a photo shoot, so we tend to, the photographer can help you a little bit, but they're really looking at other things, lighting and all this kind of stuff. But a stylist is there to maybe just help with your how you're dressed, but also help you pose, because most people are feeling real uncomfortable when they're doing the poses. A little secret too, some of my photographer friends, is that always make sure that you have some music on, your favorite music on, when you are doing your photo shoot. Okay, that's just like a thing. And have a photo shoot planner. In my program, Ready, Set, Go, Speak, there's a photo shoot planner. And I've sent it to the client, and the client gives his photographer, and the photographer has called me and said, this is gold. This is gold. Like, you have given me some direction from the client that now it makes it smoother for both of us. So this is Erica Lynn's site right here. And one of the things
you're looking at ericalynnspeaks.com.
So she had the new logo redesign. Obviously that goes with who she is now. The colors is the colors of her. It's the blue and it's the teal and the purple, which I called her like the old Oprah colors that used to be a long time ago. She has you go on her site and you know exactly what she's trying to tell you. Step beyond yourself into your greatest healing in order to play big in your life. The picture goes along with that, which was a local Detroit picture. I want to say Leo Sage or Sage Leo did the photography. She basically now she's trying to capture your email. And so her email system is Active Campaign. You get a free opt-in gift, which LaShanda also created as well as the site as well. Now we're telling you about who is Erica Lynn. Well, who is this lady? So I've got her book. Okay, so now I'm reading her story. Where does she come from? And so she's really trying to show the person that she is and going down in here. So, okay, so now it's time to take one step beyond. So at this point, she's trying to tell you, okay, so let's have a conversation so I can really explain to you what it is that I do and what I can do to help you. So it's a discovery, meaning she's asking you questions. And then at the bottom is her podcast, because podcasting is basically her way of explaining, hearing her voice. Obviously, Erica Lynn speaks, so you need to hear her speaking. So her podcast is there as well. And then you go down and you really then connect with her. And I always say this part too. Obviously, speak. You want to know how to invite her to speak, but down at the bottom, and this is one thing that people do that they don't do. They put their social medias up at the top. Now we still remind people to get her email gift, but at this part, her Facebook, her Twitter, Instagram, all that is at the bottom. Only after you know who she is, because she wants you to stay on her site long enough to get who she is. Because once you know, we jump off of the website and go on to Facebook, it's a done deal. We all into all kind of stuff. We watching videos, this and that. So at this point, it's like it's in her footer at the bottom, but only after you discover who she is and maybe set up an appointment with her or talk to her, or at least at the very least get on her email. Her emails are then automated. They're written in the language of her particular niche of who she's talking to. Then it says where she's seen, right? This is some of the things. She's been on podcasts. She's been in Speakers Magazine. Yes. She has been in some other things, and she's going to be in more. But at this point, if a journalist says, you know what, she pitched me, let me go and check out her site. Now I can go to her media. I can go and pick up her one sheet. I can grab her bio and can read it on the air. There's some photos there that are high, quality. So it's everything that they need. Don't make the media work so hard trying to work with you. Don't make clients work so hard trying to figure you out. It's easy navigation. It's so easy. It doesn't have to be all, moving parts and this and that. Make it easy navigation. Make it very professional. Make it clean. The main thing is that it now attracts traffic, and she's growing her email list. And her email list, her automated messages back, besides getting the free gift, are 4 or 5 different messages. And all of them are inviting them, her ideal client, because she's set in the ready stage, right? She's got this part now of who she's talking to. She's inviting them to speak with her so that she can figure out how she can help them. And that's basically taking them through a series of questions. And I will say this, and LaShanda said that I said yesterday, if you don't ASK, you don't GET. One of the main things is for everybody is to ask more. And I'll give you a story of something when I started years ago. So I started ministry marketing 20 years ago. And I was really at this point where, what is ministry marketing? Who am I talking to? And I knew I was speaking to Black people in the Christian market. So at one point in time, I saw a young lady who had a email service called Black Gospel Promo. Didn't know her. And I reached out one day and I just called her and said, how can we work together? I know you do gospel music, but I do Black Christian books. How can we work together? So I actually started putting my clients on her email service. We put videos in there and that, and people were clicking and actually buying books. It was like one of the things. And it just really helped in a relationship. And then eventually I said, okay, if I want to be known in the ministry marketing space, what else do I need to do for people to see me? Obviously I was working with the mega churches, Great Faith, Word of Faith, Straight Gate, they all rhyme. And then some other, churches across the country. But I said, I really need to be in like a national Christian publication. So there's the white Christian publications and there's the Black. So I said, well, let me go to my Black Christian publication. At that time, it was Gospel Today. Didn't really know Teresa Harrison, knew of her, but didn't really know her. And I said, well, who do I know that knows her? And so it was a gentleman by the name of Mark Tillis. And I called him up. At that point, I was president of the American Christian Writers Association. I wasn't really writing. I was writing for my clients, but not really writing like articles. And I said, Mark, who was writing for Teresa at the time, he was doing like music reviews. I says, Mark, can you introduce me to Dr. Teresa Harrison? Now, it took nerve for me to call up Mark and ask him to ask her if I could talk, because I'm scared. And he said, sure, here's her email or whatever. You just email her. It took 2 weeks for me to email Teresa Harrison. And then finally I emailed her and I pitched her and I told her who I was and who I work with. And I said, I'd like to write stories that have to do with the African American Christian person in business and also about their books and the speaking. And she said, sure. She gave me a story right away, and it ended up being a story that was like the cover story. And then I wrote for her every single month. So many people like TD Jakes and Cindy Trim, found out who I was from writing articles in Gospel Today. I still, to this day, love Dr. Teresa Harrison because she opened the door for me, but it was only after I asked. It wasn't like, oh, you know what, let me call Pam and see if she wants. No, you have to ask. And so I wrote stories on so many different people, comedians, Christian beauty shops, Black Christian books and authors and speak. I mean, it was just like amazing. And then she had me write a column. She says, you know what, you need to write on just ministry marketing, how ministries need to market in this digital age. And so then I became like a columnist. And so that was how the relationship grew. But also, one of the things I will say, whatever Dr. Teresa said that she needed, I was there. I gave it to her. It's like whatever, you know, it was like, I owe you. And so it was always reciprocal. What, you know, if you need to be on a TV station here in Detroit, sure, let's, you know. So it's like you become my friend, but also we do things for our friends. And so it was working both ways. And that is just like the beauty of networking that people I think are missing right now. So in that so I say
do what you just said. You've got to leverage your circles. That when it comes to marketing, I've got a book. It's like 13 marketing secrets. I'm like, are you leveraging your circles? Either you know somebody who has a platform, or they know somebody who has a platform, and you need to make the connection, right? But you know, you got to get over those fears, right? Fight the fear and do it anyway.
That is so.
Fight the fear and do it anyway.
And so
I do see someone on Periscope. I wanted to share this with you, Pam. DJ says, I have no problem with Wix. Now, Wix has a free version and a paid version. But of course, I was actually working with somebody's website, not on Wix, but it was a free WordPress, right? And she's a therapist. And when you go to the website, it said, this is before I redesigned it, by the way. It said, you know, if you want a free WordPress website, click here. I said, as a social service professional, as a therapist, you don't want somebody going to your website and it's at WordPress.com, get a free website on the top and at the bottom. If you're using the paid version of Wix, that's one thing. But if you their promotions all over your content, it isn't bold for you visually to build your brand. And other people are like, well, if you can't invest in a couple of dollars and get in the premium version, do I really want do I want to work with you? I'm just saying. That's what I'm just saying.
And DJ, one of the things I just want to say, there's not a problem of starting with anything. You can start where you start. Okay. So Wix, Weebly, any of those things. We're just saying that there are ways where you're going to grow and expand. And there's going to be certain limitations that you're going to hit. You probably don't know them now, but they're going to hit because you don't have a WordPress.
Eventually.
And that's one of the things.
Now, you know, and
plugins that you can't use.
There's lots of different ones, and you can certainly use. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Pam?
I was just going to say there's certain things that won't integrate with Wix or Weebly or what I call the proprietary type of websites. So WordPress is open source. It has more things that are growing with it to expand and grow. And that's all we're saying. So you could start there, but say you do want to eventually change over to WordPress, it's a little bit tougher. And then also in terms of SEO, it also helps too. Yeah, and Squarespace is the same thing too. WordPress is probably the premium in terms of SEO. There's a plugin that you probably can't get in other websites, which is Yoast Seo, which is amazing. It is a plugin. It's a free one.
I always tell people what's great about WordPress is that it grows with you and you can kind of add on things to expand it as you evolve as an entrepreneur.
Yes. And I do
those
have
plugins. That's what you can do.
I do have a podcast that I completed. It was 1-year podcast that talked about digital business. This is even before COVID. And I knew that my people needed to know about digital business marketing. and it's called the Digital Business Acceleration Podcast. I have a free training on there. You can listen to all 52, but if you listen to podcasts 2 to 15, you'll understand why WordPress. You'll be walking out there, WordPress, opt-in gift, email. I mean, because I talk about that in every one, and you'll understand the rationale of it, of the whole marketing system. So if you go to the dbapodcast.com, you can actually listen to the podcast there, but actually go and listen to podcast 2 to 15, and it's free. I did it from the standpoint, I had this trap music at the beginning. Me and Vernita, we were doing it together, and I was like, I'm trying to make this thing cool. Nothing wrong with Amy Porterfield. Love Amy Porterfield, Mari, all them. But I was like, I'm telling to y'all straight what I know, I've learned, and this is the way you need to do it. And thank you, Teresa. Says, I'm listening and learning. I just had one of my books published, and I'd love to reach a multitude along with being noticed. So the ready phase, you've got that. You got the set phase. Hopefully you have all the things that you need in the set phase, right? When I said that, when we just went over Erica Lynn's thing, you've got the one sheet, you've got the podcast, you've got the website, you've got all these things, you've got the press kit, you got the EPK. When you have an EPK, if you're authoring your book, what you really need is the press release about the book, a synopsis of the book, maybe a summary of each chapter. You need interview questions for that. You need a long bio, you need a short bio, and you also need some links in the book and a book trailer. That's just in that part. You want to get out there to the millions. That part you already need. You do need that, because you want to be more like at the point where you can go. So ready, set, go. So the go phase is when you start doing outreach. You get out there and you actually have decided in that whole set phase of what media you want to go after. You've researched them, know what their beats are, what they're talking about, what their contacts are. You're following them on Twitter. You're developing a quasi relationship at this point, because there's nothing worse than someone just coming to you cold and trying to sell you something, and you don't know anything about them. They don't know. It's like one of those emails. It's like, oh, I saw your website and I think you need such and such. It's like, yeah, no, you don't know what I need. You ain't even talked to me. You don't know nothing about me. So when I say in that, you got the ready phase, the set phase. So the set phase is really deciding what media you would like to reach out to, because their message mirrors your audience and their audience mirrors you. And so you then follow them on Twitter, maybe try to connect with them on LinkedIn, Facebook, but read them, listen to them. If it's a podcast, listen to the podcast. Like if they have a webinar, get on their webinar, say some comments, but become visible to them, so that when you notice, right? Yeah, then go into the goal phase and you're doing the outreach. You can say, hey, I read that something in Speakers Magazine about you, this and that. My book actually coincides with that. So one, the journalist is saying, well, they've read something. They've done some homework. They're not just out pitching, trying to just get seen, but they actually know a little bit about my beat. And so what I did with the Black journalists over this weekend was that I talked to them and say, what is it that you love about pitching, people pitching to you, and what is it that you hate? And one of the things that they really love is people who are trying to develop a relationship, people who actually are trying to understand their beat, what they write about on a continual basis, and really going deep. So you can try and buy a media list. Say you buy a media list of, 100 people, and you hit select all and you send your crap out to them. Ain't none of them going to pay attention. It takes individual time, and that's why people pay publicists, because it does take time, individual time, to reaching out to them one by one and making that individual pitch to them, because you have read them. So do you do that for 100? No, you do that for your top 10 first. If it's Upscale Magazine, if it's Heart and Soul, if it is Essence, whatever it is. Now, Essence will take a longer time if you don't have a relationship. I'm not saying that it won't happen. So what I say is really start with the lowest hanging fruit first. Media begets media. So get the lowest hanging fruit first, so that you have those badges or media logos on your website first. And then you'll start adding other ones. Then you'll start adding the larger media. But don't just try to say, I want a big media hit so that I can get known. The big media hit is like, what you going to do for me? They're not trying to make you famous. Oprah's not trying to get you on your show so you could be famous. You have to build up to that. You need to build up a platform. You need to build up a following. You need to be big before you get to Oprah, right? That's one of the things about it. When you have because she works on how many viewers she's going to bring into her shows. So the more viewers you have, you can, in eyeballs and ears on your particular platform, you bring in that to her platform. That's a benefit to her. It's always win-win. It's never like, I got to get it. This is, someone's going to just hit a button. Even when you're working with a publicist is not going to hit a magic button and just say, oh, okay, well, you're just ready to go. You've got to have those first 2 phases done. If not, you need to get into a program to show how to really put those pieces together. And that's where a lot of people think that it's just so easy, or that it can happen so fast, that it's instant PR and this and that. It's not. It does look instant once you've done those first 2 phases, and then you're ready and you could go when you're doing the outreaches. And so, say for instance, just like I called the young man and I said, introduce me to Teresa, but I was the one that had to do the email. And I just said, Mark told me to email you, and this is my information. This is my website. This is what I bring, whatever. So if you're not really having those things in place, if you say, well, here's my website, and they go to it and it's like, oh, get your own free website. That's just it's certain things that are going to be clues that other people won't tell you,
Triggers.
But there's clues that are going to say, oh, they ain't ready. And they won't tell you.
They're not ready. And you need to be ready.
Yeah. I mean, someone could just say like, oh, I don't know why my book isn't selling. And you have the big thing on the front of your book that says forward by, I don't know, Reverend Run. And forward is spelled wrong. And it's like, okay. They're not going to be reviewed in the New York Times. They're not going to be reviewed in Kirkus Reviews. They're not going to be reviewed at major book reviewers because they spell forward FORWARD instead of FOREWORD. They won't tell you that you misspell forward. They just say you ain't ready and they just pass you over. Because there's a before word and then there's forward. You don't say that. I mean, I look at that to tell whether someone actually had a mentor or whether they're just out here doing a rogue thing and ain't nobody helping them.
It's small, but it's big.
It is big. It is really big. Because you won't find a book in a bookstore and Barnes and Noble and the New York Times bestseller doing that. Okay, it's just one of those things. So then the other phase, once you do the outreach and you're building the relationships and you're doing the content marketing and you're really going, at this point, you've got your stuff, you got your content calendar and it's really working and you're building your email list and things are coming in and it's now the train has left the station, right? It's out there. So now we're at the speak phase. Like you're learning how to deliver your signature speech. You are actually have your talking points. You actually now have sound bites when you're on radio shows and TV shows. You are now ready set. You've got go and you speak. You have already your what I call your compact webinars already set to go. If someone asks you to be on the virtual stage, you've got it all together. So it's like that page where you're going out and you're speaking. And so at that point, when you're speaking, you're doing wonderful and you're feeling really good. You're feeling like a celebrity. Make sure that you ask for testimonials. Make sure that you're asking for people after they hear you and they experience you, how you did. Go back and ask for feedback with someone who interviewed you or a newspaper or a radio station, podcast, ask for feedback. People who read your book, ask for feedback. That's the only way that you're going to get better. And so you would think that, oh, well, those people, well, they'll leave a review on Amazon. No, they won't. They ain't gonna leave a review on Amazon, not unless you tell them to. Oh, well, they're gonna, if I was really good, they'll send me an email and tell me I was great. No, they won't. You got to ask them. You got to give them a form or something, or, how did you enjoy this? What was it? Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say for that, I used to have the funky face, as I like to say. I'm so smart. Why aren't people asking me to come to speak at their events? You got to pitch yourself. I didn't know that. Oh, you so great. Why aren't people saying, oh, I learned that from LaShanda? You got to say, hey, you learned that from me, right? Can I get a review? I mean, if you don't learn that you got to get your ASK a year, if you don't learn nothing else here today, you got to ask. Interesting enough, yesterday was the Book Business Summit. Pam spoke, I spoke. We had some amazing speakers. This is sense.com/BB Summit. Write it down, drop it into the comment box. And as part of that experience, I said, y'all, while it's fresh on your mind and in your heart, I need you to go to facebook.com/SisterSense. go to the review section and post a
Thank you.
review. Y'all, while you watching this live stream, you enjoy these daily web classes, baby, go to facebook.com/Sister Sense in the review
That's right.
section, paste a review. Number one, I don't know how many of you realize that there's a review section on your Facebook business page, because a lot of you have pages, but you don't use the pages as much as you should. How many of y'all, your pages is collecting dust and not dollars, right? You just got it sitting there. You need to put some content on there, right? Utilize the section. And I've got maybe close to 40 reviews there. The majority of them I asked for. I said, hey, can
Mhm.
you go there? I got 4.9 out of 5 as a business review on that platform. Some of you don't even know you got reviews on that platform, right? So I
That's
want you to think about that as people suggest. Get your ask in gear, because nobody gonna review you or put you on if you don't put yourself on.
exactly. And the same thing goes for awards. I have been given
Yeah,
awards over the years, but also too for the awards that I really wanted, you have to go and apply or pitch or that sort of thing. So you, even when you want to earn an Emmy, you still have to apply. You have to put yourself in there. The Emmy aren't scouring
me is
around
guilty.
trying to trying to figure out who to give an Emmy to. There are people who have to apply, and then sometimes there's costs to apply to some of the larger ones. If I wanted to win a PR Newsweek or Adweek award, they have contests, and then you put in there and you put in your nomination, and then there's a cost for the nomination. But if you're under 40, the 40 under 40, they're not running around town trying to figure out who are the best people 40 under 40. You have to apply. You have to go to Cranes
You
or
have
whoever it
to.
is, the network journal, and you have to have that information
The
and
40,
put it
exactly 40 years. I saw several people that I'm connected to on social media. They have full transparency said, I applied and I got in and I'm on for, before they
in.
won it, they had to apply for it. You
Exactly.
think they just got picked out of the whatever? No, they proactively put them out there. Kim writes for you, says great info. Thanks for sharing. This is important information. Thank you for watching, and make sure y'all share this out. Y'all share this out. Tag a business bestie. Feel free to
Yeah.
do that as well.
So that go phase, like I said, it's the outreach, it's getting out there. It's really just showing up strong. It's really showing up strong. But when you speak and you're doing transformation, make sure that you're leveraging that you're putting yourself out there for awards, that you're asking for reviews. I don't care if it's on Google reviews, Yelp reviews, Facebook reviews, put in the
Good
reviews
read.
in LinkedIn is one way. Goodreads is another one. Amazon, and have people leave an Amazon video review. How about people love video? They like people looking in their face.
Yeah, right.
Leave a video review with the book. Leave it holding up the book. It's like I did a video review. So those are the things that really, once you speak, you're leveraging that, because now you're doing the transformation, you're doing the work. So how do you make that go further, because now it's started, and it's snowballing, and you go back to the same phase. You basically going to the go and the speak phases over and over again. It's the outreach and showing up, outreach and going up. But like I said, the majority of the time was in the ready and the set phase, because that's really
Ready,
the
set,
I'm ready to go
go, speak.
.com. That's it. And I'm telling you, when people have to do this themselves, that's when they say, "Ooh, I need to hire somebody." So these are the people that I would say that you really need on your team, that really can help make this whole thing. Because a lot of people may be not really full-time authors yet or full-time speakers, so they work another job. So you really, at the very least, need a virtual assistant. And we have some resources that we recommend for virtual assistants. You need a person that is like your graphics person. And so you can buy time. I think the time you have where you can buy like blocks of time, like what do you call it? Like
Yeah. 3 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours.
yeah. So at the very least, maybe say 3 hours a month, so that you can have someone do graphics for you. Don't try to do. So the thing of it is that you can do a lot of this yourself, but you don't want it to look like you did it yourself. Okay. So you want to go to another level. Just spend a little bit, to know this is a team, virtual assistants, graphics person, someone who is more or less like your digital marketing person, someone who will help you with strategy or business coaching and that sort of thing. That's what the Ready, Set, Go, Speak is. It's like I'm like your publicist in your pocket type of thing, a person that will say, here's a connection, you need to connect with this, or this is an event that's coming up. It comes up every single year. Make sure that you're going to be in the event next year. Like if you're in diversity space, so we know all the things where if you're a diversity speaker, where you need to show up. So we're your eyes and ears for you, your team is, because you can't be everywhere. You're just should be in your zone of genius of doing and delivering your transformation.
Right.
The other stuff, you're not that genius at. So have someone, whether you're in their membership program or you're taking their programs or you're paying them a retainer a month, but just knowing that's handled. And besides the other business stuff that you need, the accountant and the lawyer and the IP, definitely have like a intellectual property lawyer, because there's so many different things that people need to know. And we have resources for that as well. There's a Christian
but it
IP.
is, I will say this, it is a level up process, right? Because Pam and I have been doing this for many, many years now. I'm on 2 decades. Pam is on 30 plus decades doing this. Birth May 26 babies, right? 20 years apart. Gotta love us, twinning and winning, right? I want you to know that there is a level up process. So some of you may be DIYing it just a little bit. But then as you build and you grow and you make some money, Teresa said she sold 110 books in 3 weeks. Then you're going to take some of them sales, you're going to invest back into, right? Let's do that. Let's give some claps for my girl, Teresa. Drop them hearts, that love in the comment box for her, right? As you level up, don't just take them sales and get them red bottoms, right? Don't just go and say, hey, look at my new BMW, my new Lexus, right? Because a lot of entrepreneurs, when they get that little quick 6 figures, all of a sudden you see them on Facebook with that new car. Hopefully, before you got that new car, you took some of that money, you invested into the lawyers and the editors and the PR team and the photo shoot and the stuff that you need to level up.
Patent and the trademarks. Yep, that's
the patent and the trademark. I want to say that because I don't want some of you guys to feel overwhelmed and not start because you don't feel like you have enough money to get all these people on your team. But you should start at some level. And also, sometimes it's more affordable than you think, right? So you want to take a look at readysetgospeak.com with Pam. That's the right website, right? Readysetgospeak.com. You want to take a look at the past. Sometimes we scared to even look like, Lord, I know I can't afford that. You blocking your own blessing. Right? Myself included. I got payment plans. I got people who work with me. And so that's something to think about as well. Level up in phases, get the people that you need on your team. And sometimes the resources are more affordable than you're aware of. You're just too scared to look. And so I want to make sure that I just kind of drop that on you as well.
When I first started, my first website was actually a trade. I worked with a author whose husband could do websites. And so for a reduced fee for my PR services, her husband built my website. And that's where I started. You start where you start. Eventually it became so that I can do other things, but you do need to know further down the line where you want to go. So even identifying, like one day, like LaShanda Hoffman said, one day I want to work with LaShanda Henry. So at least know and be aware that one day you want to work with this person. One day I want, and sometimes it's not that hard. Sometimes you have to ask in order to get. So it wasn't hard, and get over yourself in terms of the fear, because a lot of people are willing, if you are authentic and you have integrity, you have the passion, if you genuinely come to someone and explain to them the vision and why you think that they would be a good person for you to collaborate with, sometimes they'll say yes. And I did that with Ready, Set, Go, Speak. So one of the things, Ready, Set, Go, Speak, I'd like you to be one of the guest experts in there as well, because monthly we have like live Q&As in there. But one of the ones that I wanted in there was Satori Shakur.
I'm there when you're ready.
Yes. And these are people that I know that get the vision of why I'm doing this. And she's one because we're twinning, but it's also for Blacks to really help our community. So Satori Shakur is over Twisted Storytellers in Detroit, which is like a Black TED Talk, but it's done at the African American Museum, and it's actually on public radio. She has videos. She's going to have an app. And so I asked, and she is probably the best speaker coach I've ever seen, because I've seen her do the transformation with some of my clients. And I asked her if she would be a person that would actually be like a guest expert monthly in our Ready, Set, Go Speak, because I can help with the marketing and the confidence and the mindset. But in terms of speaking, she knows how to really help people with body language, and she's an actress. So she has it like naturally. She's a comedian as well too. But her thing that she does for Black people, and she could do TED Talks as well, and she's done them. Shatori Shakur. But what I love about it is her commitment to the people. I'm just like, I'm down with it. And because she will have every single month different themes that have to do with Black people, like what is race. She'll have people give their stories about race or about Black men and things like that, political charge, but it's authentically her, like LaShanda, authentically her. And those are the people that I love to show up, to have them really have people understand what season we're in and why we do what we do. And they've been committed to it for years, and they're going to continue to be committed to it. So those are some of the things that I just think that partnerships matter more so now. Collaborations, knowing who to collaborate with, what kind of people you want to work with eventually. And if nothing else, get in a membership program with them. If you can't hire them directly, at least get in the membership program so that you can at least kind of be in there a little bit, just starting.
And learn and grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And be seen. Be seen by them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of people will buy some
Now,
programs and not be seen. So you gotta show up and do the work. That's really the
you got
truth.
to show up, absolutely show up and do the work. One of the things that I said yesterday, and feel free to write it down, drop it into the comment box. Ideas are great. Implementation is better, right?
Mhm.
And so I want you to think about that, because yesterday when we did the book business virtual summit, followed that up with the Write the Book workshop. It was all about Pam, myself, Tyora, Tashina, all of our amazing publishers, speakers, and experts teaching you, giving you ideas, also
Mhm.
recommending things that you can do to implement. So I
Mhm.
definitely recommend staying connected with Pam, taking a look at Speakers Magazine, taking a
Yeah.
look at the Ready Set program and Ready Set Go Speak program. Let me say it correctly. And make sure that if you haven't already done so, you go to the BB Summit, citizensense.com/BB Summit. We had some great sessions yesterday. We've done a full week long experience for you guys via these live streams, this daily class today, and want to make sure that you stay connected. Okay. Hey, Pastor Tangi is in the building. Hey, Pastor Tangi. Will there be a replay for this? I want to see the parts that I missed. Absolutely. I mean, these daily web classes are here. They're not going anywhere. They're on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. Write this down, y'all. DWC. Because if you go to citizensense.com/DWC, that's where you're going to see my Facebook page, my YouTube page, my Instagram page, and all the daily web classes that I do. They ain't going nowhere unless I decide to delete them at some point. You can watch the dailies. We go deeper inside of conversations in the virtual summit. I had some amazing speakers yesterday, so you want to make sure that you get those replays. Tangi says, thank you so much, Pastor Tangi, for being here. That's why I keep my membership with LaShanda. I want to continue grabbing her good goods. Absolutely, right? I love every single month in the mastermind teaching and sharing with you guys. Hey, Dr. Peggy is in the building. Ideas are great. Yes, ideas are great. Implementation is better. citizensense.com/DWC for the daily web classes. So, Pam, as we are wrapping up for today, we've had a great session. Feel free to let them know anything else you want to know as far as recapping the Ready, Set, Go Speak method, and or any final recommendations you want to share with them today.
Yeah, for people that kind of came on a little bit late, so I'll just go over the Ready, Set, Go system. It's a membership program, Ready, Set, Go Speak. So the Ready phase really goes over the mindset, the mission, going over the target market, really making you understand what's all involved in terms of the cost, the commitment, having thick skin when you're actually doing the outreach, that whole piece. Because I find that I can't do PR for people if they don't have their mindset right. So that's one of the main things. The set phase is really pulling together what I call the fun part. You're doing the photo shoot, the logo, the website, you're doing your opt-in gift, you're writing the copy. It's like everything that you need before you're actually going to hit the street, because you're going to need this. You're going to need a demo reel. And so in that part, we actually tell you how to do this and actually gauge what you have done and tell you how to improve it. Because I find that in a live program, you're going to need someone to say, how does this press release sound? How does this bio sound? What do you think about this? Okay, let's change this around. Let's do that. And that will be there. I'm committed to being there for that set phase, that one sheet. Even sometimes I'll tell people, I says, you know what? You need to redo your book cover. I mean, I'm just serious. It's like, it's not going to sell. It's like, you need to redo it. You need to call LaShanda. Let's redo this book cover. I mean, so that would be some of the things that I will do in the program, because I'm going to be honest. Ready, set, go, speak.com. Exactly. And then the go space is the outreach, really making the pitches to the podcast, to the radio, to the TV, to the print. How do they work? And making sure that you're familiar with the news cycles, and also like international days that you can actually take advantage of as well. In the last phase is speak, when you're actually out there doing that darn thing. You have the sound bites, you have the signature speech, and you're asking for the reviews, and things are just snowballing, and it's growing and growing, and it's like, wow, it's like I become viral. Yeah, that's it. Everybody wants to go viral.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. You know, I always have so much fun when I have my girl Pam Perry in the building. I see you guys are commenting that you gained so much and you learned so much from the solutions and strategies that we shared today. So I definitely want to make sure that you stay connected. Pam Perry PR. She knows what you need to know to grow and get that additional exposure. And as I mentioned before, we had so many amazing speakers as part of the Book Business Virtual Summit, and the replays, baby. Oh, you in for a treat. They're all online. You can go to sizzlesense.com/BB Summit so that you can take a look. You see the beautiful Pam Perry here, myself, Tamika Newhouse. We had Tyora Moody, Tashina Davis, LaShanda Hoffman. So you got LaShanda Henry and LaShanda Hoffman, Carla R. Cannon, Diane Taylor of TaylorMade Publishing, Letitia Nicole Beatty. We've got some great sessions, and I'm going to continue to be rocking and rolling with you guys, because the Back to Business Virtual Conference is coming up next. Valerie Burton, Kim Coles, the pictures are loading here as you see. Valerie Burton, Kim Coles, Jay Stone, Renee Seiler. Those are some of the experts that are featured in the Authorpreneur School. And you get access to the Authorpreneur School as part of the replays. It's a good bonus, so that outside of what we taught in the virtual summit, there are some other webinars that I've done with these amazing women, like Kim Coles talking about speaking your gifts, and Valerie Burton, and the amazing Renee Seiler, the creator of, she's a television personality and the creator of Good Enough Mother. All of these amazing experts are like, look, when it comes to branding, building your business, these are things that you need to do. So I'm only one person. I always want to make sure that I can share these other people with you that got some, really some great, amazing insights for you as well. So thank you so much, Pam. We've been on here for a minute, girl.
I got one thing. I want to make sure that people understand the connection between books and speaking. Those that are the top level speakers are also authors. So when she talks about being an authorpreneur, she talks about the book business. Yeah. It's like, I don't really have a book, I just want to speak. No. If you really want to be taken seriously as a speaker, the book is the first stop. It really is. It's the first stop. It is the first thing. So, and it needs to be
I need to find that video of us at Blogalicious. One of the first times Pam and I spoke together many moons ago was the Blogalicious event. And we were talking about what? How to leverage your book into a business. Remember that? Years ago was that.
Yes, that was it. And we were saying, at least, at the very least, an ebook. Get something, because the media needs content written so they can see. And they can pull the segments out for the shows or the podcasts or the questions. And so, yeah, that's it. And doing a book is not that hard today. So, yeah, I love you. I love you. Thank you so much. This has been good. Hey, Gordon. Hey, Sharon. I'm seeing some people on here. I just decided. Vincent. Hey, Vincent. He's the president of NABJ Detroit. So he's going to be in my program in the replays for Ready, Set, Go Speak. So yay. Hey, Yvette. Oh, this is cool. I love the internet. The internet.
It is the amazingness that is being able to reach out and virtually touch someone. So, all right, y'all, do what you need to do. Go forth, create your amazing. Pam, you know I love working with you. We'll be in each other's text message and inbox all day, every day. You guys remember, I create these daily web classes all day, every day. So turn on alerts and notifications so you can see when I'm live, so you can jump on here live with me. Till next time, take care. Bye, guys.